Ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Axon's Live Q&A. I'm joined by the amazing Caitlin and Fran today. We're going to talk about all things build support. You guys know how this works. If you're a long-time listener, never first-time caller, then you can just basically go ahead and use the chat there and flick us across anything that you want to know. Anything to do with property, being a veteran, communicating with your missus. You know, these are one of two other married couples. We've got four married couples in the business, but the other two ladies here, their husbands work in the business as well. So we've got a very unique perspective on working with one's other husbands and transition and whatever you want. But yeah, I thought I'd bring the build support girls in tonight and basically have a bit of a chat about all things construction. Hello.
Hi, everyone. Nick Gallino's here.
Your boss is most importantly, your boss, Angie, was the first one in. We should acknowledge her.
Hello, Angie.
I don't remember. Caitlin, I know you and I have definitely been on a live before, and I think I've interviewed you a few times. Fran, have you joined me on a live before, or is this first time?
I have. That was a long time ago, and Vance walked into the room.
Oh, that's
so I've got Luke on standby. Make sure he doesn't walk in this time.
Yeah.
It's totally fine, mate. It's we've had all sorts of people in all sorts of configurations walk behind one on a Zoom call. That's like worldwide, by the way. Yeah. Who we got else? Mickey Gallagher's in the house. Jane Wilkinson listening from the lounge room downstairs from Caitlin. That's like, 7 or 8 meters away. Benny Hinton's in the house. Luke from the Gold Coast is back. Jeez, I haven't heard from Luke from the Gold Coast for a while. That's pretty cool. How's things been in the build support lane, girls? What's some of the main things you want to talk about tonight? As well as any other questions we get in the chat.
Franny,
lots happening. Lots happening. Very interesting last 5 months. We got lots to share, few insights, and our expectations from the months coming. So
yeah,
very keen to talk about it all.
Good. The main thing I get the boys and the coaches and the property specialists is just to talk about trends, so we know like what's happening over the last few months. It's no good to go, oh, that happened on a single occasion. That must be the new way of doing business. So I'm like, no. It's got to occur over a decent period of time, so we can understand what that trend is. I tell you what, Caitlin, I love doing this, and I'm going to do it heaps tonight. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Don't.
You are, by the way. Congratulations, yesterday was your 1-year anniversary with us. How freaking exciting.
Yes, it is. It's very exciting. I can't believe I've survived the year. What a year it's been. I think about all the memories already that I've made in just 1 year, and it's like, why didn't I do this sooner?
I mean, both of you have got a very unique perspective. You both worked in many other jobs before you came along to Axon, and so I guess you bring that's what is Axon Workplace like compared to other places. And, and I know, as I said in my opening stanza there, both of you have got an opportunity to work with your husbands in the same open plan environment that we have. And I've got to say, I've said it from the very start, your professionalism and your willingness to work with your other half and just deal with that, is very, very mighty. I remember like back in the day, like Tam and I are still very, very imperfect about working together with each other. But like back in the early days, we would be driving in the car together, fucking screaming at each other in the car, screaming at each other in the lift. Someone would hop in, would shut up. They'd get out, fucking scream at each other again, get up, walk upstairs, open up the doors and go, hi, everybody, how you doing? And spend the whole day together and just be completely like, like no one else would know. Well, if they did know, they didn't say anything, put it that way. So, I mean, Franny, just let's talk about that for a second. You've been working with Luke now. How long have you been here? When does your 1-year anniversary tick over?
A couple of weeks ago.
I was going to say yours has already happened. Yeah. So both of you have been here for the better part of a year. Well, just over a year. What's the most enjoyable part about having Luke in the office? And then you can say what's the most frustrating part. And by the way, Luke's listening, so you can be as upfront as you like, and you can give him some feedback. But it's all right. It's just the three of us that are talking. No one else will know.
I'll start with the frustrating bit because the list is longer, but I've got to say the one that suffers the most is you for working with him. I chose to marry him, so it's my bad, but you have to deal with him every day. So the joke's on you of having him 5 days a week, if not more, by your side.
I chose that as well, and I would not change it for the thing, for not one little bit. He's been my oppo for many, many years now, and he's getting better and better. We're getting closer and closer. Like we're literally finishing each other's sentences. So it's really good. What's the most frustrating thing about having him in the office?
There isn't, to be honest. And I knew Luke and I were able to manage working together in a very good sense, but it actually really surprises beyond my expectations. And just like yourself, for me and Luke, as soon as we walk through the door, it's different. Like, there is no husband and wife.
Yeah.
I even joke with him. Sometimes he is in a meeting, text message me, can you please put a steak in the air fryer for me? I'm like, no, I won't, because at work, I'm not your wife, I'm your colleague. So I won't do that for you. But there are many other positive sides to having him there as well. Just the support and understanding. You know, when you have big days, he knows exactly what happened, and he just doesn't look at me. It's like, she's just grumpy. He knows exactly what happens, and the other way around as well. You know, night calls and so on. He has my support because I know every single bit of work that he puts in is highly appreciated and it's changing lives. So it's very easy for me to support him through that.
Yeah, I love that. I'm loving watching both of you. You're both building 2 houses at the same time right now. So that's exciting. Like, you know, both of you are like, we're in the industry. We've got an opportunity. You've already created wealth in your life. Obviously, Luke's been able to successfully transition and sort of get all that stuff under his belt, with a couple of very minor things to still, you know, overhanging, which take time. But yeah, it's so wonderful to see both of you now continuing to secure your financial futures. Like, if you think I love doing it from a client perspective, holy fuck, I love it even more when someone that I choose wears this shirt also gets the opportunity of, you know, benefiting from what we're doing in the market. I'm just seeing it here now, Caitlin, before I come to you. James has said, I can't hide anymore. And now he's pissing himself laughing. You two have got a very unique connection in the office as well, and full transparency. Like, Tammy and I catch up with you reasonably frequently socially. We don't catch up with you and Luke as social because you're 4 hours north of us, Fran. No, 40 minutes. But I'm sure once you do move down to the Gold Coast a little bit closer, that'll be on as well. So yeah, Caitlin, what's the best thing about having James in the office?
Listen, like, we can just be ourselves, and I've said it on the lives before, and I've said it to people before. It's not mum and dad anymore. It's just Caitlin and James. And, you know, me and James, we have a really weird sense of humor, and we just pay each other out a lot. So like, we can just be ourselves, and it's not like where we're at home and we're paying ourselves out and the kids think that we're bullying each other or something. No, we're just our weird, wacky selves, and we're happy and we love what we do, and we're enjoying who we're around, and, you know, we're around some of the best people out. So that's just the best thing. And, you know, my husband is one of them. So
absolutely. What would you, if you had the opportunity to wave a magic wand like a Jedi master, nothing to see here, what would you be able to change about James? Or what do you think he could do better for you?
Oh my God.
In the office.
Well, no, I'm joking. Listen, to be honest, I think that there's not really much I would change, to be honest. I think maybe, like, don't pay me out as much. No, honestly, there's nothing. He's awesome. He's an awesome person to work with. Regardless if we have the same client, he's a property specialist, I'm the build support. Just having the person to talk to constantly, and it's like, yes, I go over to his desk, I'm like, hey, what's this? And it's not like, oh, you know, leave me alone, I'll talk to you later or whatever. It's like, oh, I'll answer you. Like, I'll talk to you as my colleague. It's not wife talk or husband talk or anything. Yeah. Honestly, it's really good to work together.
I'd love to know, everyone in the chat who's in your own workspaces. You know, obviously in the military is a little bit different, but if you've got even your spouses that are civvies working in their own workspaces, have you ever come across a business that has 4 married couples in it? Now, noting we're less than 20 in total. So certainly from a percentage of you know, people in the business there, that's pretty amazing. Yeah, same deal, Caitlin. You and James are building a dream home here on the Gold Coast, and I love seeing the photos of you jumped in the pool the other day. You were like looking over the edge there. So yeah, that's coming along well also. And again, it's something really, really special to me, because I remember when you were my client. I remember, you know, Franny, when you and Luke were over in Timor, and I was helping you guys at the very start. So the fact that you've come such a long way, and you're now just, all of you are living your best life, and you're now able to continue to build wealth in your life and really secure your financial and family's future by, you know, having those your own homes and those investment properties. It's so wonderful to see. So yeah, it's really, really cool. Franny, what's your, just sort of, for those that might not have come across you before, what would you say the thing you're most passionate about in the build support role? What do you really excel at? Pun not intended. Pun not intended.
Now, look, what I love about the build support role, first and foremost, assisting our clients, navigating the build journey by their side, holding their hands, taking them through the process. I also enjoy looking at numbers, dates, trends, and data. Love doing that. So how long things take, per area, per builder, property type, and so on. So I love the engagement side, but also the analytics side of things. It's what I'm most passionate about.
What I've loved, apart from you being an amazing lady, a great communicator, and someone that cares about our clients as well as anybody else, including Tam and I, quite frankly, your willingness to jump in there and do the things that are boring and do the things that like extract all that data. We've been going for 6 and a bit years. You guys, both of you have only been here for 1 year. So there's 5 years of people that were in your seats beforehand. And whilst all of them contributed significantly to the growth and the success of Axon, nobody has been able to come along and extract the data and provide us that clarity and look at the numbers to allow Tam and I at the strategic level to make those decisions, because numbers don't have the story. The numbers are just the numbers, how it is, right? So it's been wonderful to see you jump into that role. And yeah, it's almost like what you said before, Caitlin, like, oh, why didn't I do this earlier? I'm like, fuck, why didn't I meet Fran earlier? Like, I wish Luke had to come back from Timor earlier, and I know that you would have come back with him, of course. But you're here now, and then the future is looking very, very bright. I know
just like you said, Robbie, don't think with your heart, think with your calculator. The same goes with the processes.
Yes.
What happens with the build? Our feeling sometimes is not correct when you put everything down on paper. Timeline, dates, that's what will tell the story of the build process, not exactly how we feel. Because I know this for 100% sure, Caitlin and I care a lot. We're the first ones to take the pain, but also the laughter with everything that comes in the build process and then pass it on to the clients. So we feel a lot as well, but the numbers tell the story 100%.
Yeah, like the saying that we've got in the office is that we ride the bumps that we go up. We have the ups and downs with the client's journey. Finance approvals, land settlements, EL. Presenting properties, knowing that that's not the right one. Changing of the plan. Mum's bloody pregnant now. Dad's lost a job. So there's lots of rocking and rolling that goes into one's journey. But certainly the journey that both of you, Amana and Angie, have in the build support team, you're with the client the longest. What are we at the moment? I think the shortest we're getting a house build is 6 months, and the longest we're getting a house build is about 9 months. Mm-hmm. Sort of anywhere in between, except for the terrace homes, which are just a different method of building because they've all got to be done at the same time, and there's 5 or 6 of them sitting there, which sort of take a little bit longer. So I apologise again for all those people that are building a terrace home right now that is taking an inordinate amount of time. Just rest assured that everyone is doing it, everything as fast as they can. But you've got that really deep and close and personal relationship with them for a 9-month period. So that's the PC. Then there's another couple of months while the property gets handed over and you do a hot wash and everything. So it's the better part of a year that you have that really upfront, close and personal relationship with them. It's little wonder that you get to become really good friends. One of our clients, so we want to celebrate the weddings and celebrate, the great events they have in their life. Sometimes there's events that are happening in people's lives that are not so good. We've had some clients that have broken up over the last, year or so as well. Franny, we've got this little saying in the business, haven't we? Is that your client again, Franny?
Apparently I'm cursed. Couples that come to me eventually break up. I swear I don't have anything to do with it.
It's just an old Robbie tale, mate. You're fine. You're fine.
You've got nothing to do with purely coincidental. But yeah, it's as you say, Fran, it's a very fine line between caring so much and then adopting that burden or, even feeling that elation. We've got to be that steady rock. We've got to be that person in the middle that cares so much and cares enough, but we're also got to have that objective view to make sure that the commercial transaction of that people building a house is being done properly. And if there is some sad news going on, that we empathize and we share and we allow that moment to sink in, as I did today with a phone call to one of our clients. But at the end of the day, our job is to make sure that we're their rock and, we can help them going forward. As Mickey Galliner said there, can't fault the build support team, looked after us so much. There's plenty more where that came from, Mick, and I know that you and Hannah have had a great experience. What about you? So Franny, data nerd, as we call it, but a very, very important, and it's a part of our team and a part of our cogs that I wish that we had have found sooner. It's just, the people that we had in that role there, it just wasn't their flair, or perhaps I didn't place as much emphasis on grabbing the data, so therefore no one sort of took it upon themselves to do. Caitlin, what about you, buddy? What would you say your greatest asset to bring into the Build Support team and in a way you communicate with your clients? That list is long as well, but what do you reckon your best one is?
Well, I'll tell you, it's definitely not the numbers. I done them once when Fran was away sick, and I swear to God, I had a panic attack. But it was definitely not numbers.
I would too.
But no, you know what? Something that I love doing is just seeing and connecting with my clients. And this is the biggest thing is that, and you know, when you do get posted to certain areas, you find friends and they become your family for that, you know, duration of your posting time. And so when you then, you know, meet people all over Australia, like I'm doing right now, you connect on just so many different levels. Like I connected with like a client that, you know, is posted to Darwin, and, you know, I spoke about my happy memories in Darwin. I, you know, spoke to 2 clients today who I never met before, and I didn't know where they grew up, but they grew up where I grew up. So
wow.
Yeah, and it's like these are the memories, and like these are something that we can talk about, and you know, it does create that bond and, you know, that friendship that we can talk, and we can talk about how our postings went in certain locations. We can talk about, you know, just what's happening, I guess, you know, in everybody's lives. And as you said, when our clients have those highs, we ride them, and it's so awesome. Like when we have clients that have babies, that's like my favorite time.
That is you.
But, yeah, definitely. But it's definitely the same. Yeah, it's definitely the same when our clients are feeling lows. We definitely feel that as hard as we can, and it's something that we take into our core as well, because, you know, Axon are a family, and our clients are our family too.
I think the greatest standout difference that we have with anyone else in the industry is our relatability to our clients. Like you were in their shoes. Like when Luke tells a story, or when James tells a story, or Ryan tells a story, I'm like, oh, and by the way, this is how I came to be at Axon X amount of months or years ago. I was sitting in your shoes, and the client's just like, oh man, now I'm talking to someone who, you know, clearly has gone through the process. So do both of you feel as defense spouses that you're able to relate to the people at that soulful level, like in a way that you can't just explain, Caitlin?
Oh, I think 100% I can definitely relate. And again, I had a call today where I was talking about the experiences of me coming to Axon. And when I came to Axon, and, you know, when James and I found it, we didn't come on the greatest circumstances. We were not in the greatest position at all. And, you know, I got my first investment property, you know, and these are the things that I didn't like about the property. But guess what? These are the things that my tenants love about the property, you know, and I'm at the point now where, you know, it's not about, you know, sitting here and going, oh, I'm not sure about this property, or I'm not sure about like colors or whatever, the things that you sit there and want to get invested in. It's just, this is what's happening for now, and this is what's going to get you. This is your stepping stone to where you want to be. And that's my life right now that I'm living. And everyone's like, oh, you're building your dream home. And I'm like, it's my dream for now. This is where I want to be in the future. And this is where we can all relate to each other. We have that 10-year plan on our PWAPs, and this is where we're going to be getting ourselves in 10 years. And then when that 10-year gets there, we're going to focus on another 10 years, you know? Awesome. So
I love the story. Like, I disliked the colors, and I didn't like this about my house, but the tenant loves it, and it's gone up in value to $300,000. I'm like, all that cosmetic stuff that you were worrying about back in the day makes zero fucking difference.
I was actually looking at my profile form today that I first submitted to you guys, as well as our first PWAP as well. And I'm like, how did we get from there to here? And then I'm like, it's just Axon. Like, yeah.
Good stuff. Franny, what about you? Do you love the way you're able to relate to people's circumstances? Like no matter what, you know, because we've got singles, couples, gay couples, divorcees, people that break up, like, you know, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I guess, are you loving I remember when Luke's first started doing the coachings with me a bit over a year ago, he's like, jump off. He's like, well, that one was different. And another one, that one's, I'm like, they're all fucking different. Like there's no one call that's anywhere near the same. Agreed?
Agree. Something else that I love as well that we understand very well is the personality and expectations of defense or veteran clients. So direction, clarity, you know, we do that very well. like Luke, when he was in defense, can't be greedy, can't not have a plan. No, everything needs to be clear cut, communicated, expectation, and so on. And we understand it very well and deliver in the best way possible to our clients. So can relate.
Love it. Let's get into some more. So I just want to spend the first 20 minutes or so, team, just getting to, allow all of the listeners, whether you're listening live, just to get to know Franny and Caitlin a little bit more. Just go back through the comments. My mum, hello, mum. Hi, Robbie, Fran and Caitlin. Great to see you all. I'm sure you've never had a crossword with Tammy. I've never had a crossword with her, but she's had plenty with me, let me tell you. James has said, I'm interested to know how the building industry has improved recently from the high amount of delays experienced over the last 12 months. James, we're going to cover off on that in a second. Angie's in the house now. Love how you call each other colleagues. That's pretty cool. I mean, Angie, whilst you don't work with your husband, Luke, in Axon, he's one of the ops managers of the builder that we've been using the longest time. So I know that you have plenty of work conversations with him. So, and I know that both of you get on fabulously well. You've been together since you were like 10 or something.
Yes.
So to have that deep level of understanding and professional respect for each other is very much resonating in your household as well. Sean Short says, on your Luke Millwood, not a single person would ever say a bad thing about you. That is true. James can't hide any war. Darren Mack's in the house. Hello, Darren. First handover tomorrow. Which is very
exciting.
Mickey Gallen we spoke about, and then you two are yin and yang and compliment each other so much. Let's talk about some more build support specific stuff. Tell me about your site visits and your road trips. Now,
awesome.
Full disclosure, everybody. Tam and I, we've got the Axon Benga bus. It's a Kia Sorento. We bought a 7-seater so people could jump in there and away we go. But of course, with multiple people driving the car, normally you, Caitlin, by the way, you're like, yep, give us the keys. I'm good to go. Away we go. I'm like, yep, sweet.
I guess they're the fastest.
Yeah, well, as long as it's within the laws, of course.
It is.
We've got the cameras and the microphones inside. So it's always a bit of a thing there. And the girls are just, look at them both now, just sort of shaking their heads. They're like, you should have heard some of the stuff we were talking about. We were singing, we were having such a good time. Like, I'm going to watch that. I'm going to listen to that playback. And Taylor's like, no, you're not. Don't listen to the playback. So, yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, girls, what's the feeling like? Caitlin, I'll go to you. What's the feeling like when you've got your list of clients or the list of properties you're going to go and see, provide updates to, and you've sort of got your bit of a running list there. But, yeah, what's it like when you go out there and actually see these houses evolve from all the back-end paperwork office stuff that you do on a day-to-day basis?
Honestly, it's just every time I see a house, it's the same overwhelming happiness that I get for every single property. And I've handed over a lot of properties since I've started working with Axon, and every single one of them brings me so much joy. Doesn't matter what stage they're in. I am so incredibly happy for each and every one of my clients, especially for a few that are having a hard time, especially as you spoke about, we do have a few terrace homes that unfortunately, they have had, a slower, build because they need to be built a certain way, and a certain amount of houses are in the one row and they all need to be done at the same time. So when we just get updates, when we see the updates, when we see the progress, it's just happiness for every single client. And then when we forward it to them, we just get the best responses as well. Like, they're so extremely happy to see their houses and to see their properties, come to life as well. So that's, that for me, I guess, is number one. But number two, I mean, I get to hang out again with my friends who, they're my best friends pretty much, who I work with. I've got no other friends, so you've got to be stuck, you're stuck with me. But, we just get to like communicate, we get to relate, we get to have chats, we get to know each other on a deeper level. We start talking about our family lives, how we grew up, everything. And it's just, we get to know each other a lot more. So it's more memories with us.
Tell me also, ladies and gents in the chat, if you don't mind, is everyone loving the little reels and the videos and the craziness so Robbie comes out of the closet, Franny, like Amana's walking around showing a beautiful bathroom, and Franny's in the bath. Caitlin pokes her head around the corner. She's got a drill in her hand. See, I'd love to know what everyone's feelings are when they see the girls out there on site. Axon's in the wild. Franny, what do you love most about being out and about doing your site visits?
Exploring the area, seeing how the builds are going. So for us, we might be tracking that enclosed is coming in a couple of weeks. We go we go at the property and we're able to see, are they close or not? What has been done? And we might start noticing delays that might be coming up, tiling should be done at this property and that property, and you see the area and the street, what's happening. We're able to kind of foresee what's coming around the corner when we visit those sites. So definitely an excitement, social time, but just exploring, see how many houses are being built, style, quality, shops around the corner, what's going up. That's what I love the most about it.
Yeah, I remember being in the car with both of you about 6 weeks ago. We went out to the Western Growth Corridor and we saw a few kitchens with a few more colour palettes coming through. And it was like, oh my God. I'm like, say that again. I'm going to capture that on camera. I was filming both of you, loving being there. So that was really good. One of the points I wanted to bring up, Franny, whilst it's easier to talk about delays a lot of the time, there's also a lot of concurrent activity happening with some of the builders as well. So whilst they might be doing the walls and the bits on the outside, there's also, wherever possible, stuff happening on the inside. Have you sort of noticed that trend continue as well, Franny?
We have, yes. Definitely seen concurrent activity happening. As soon as the enclosed stage is completed, then multiple things are able to happen at the same time. We're always checking for that as well, especially when claims come through. Even though it's just the enclosed stage, we might already start noticing fixing from the photos that have been happening or have started already.
So some of the cabinetry, some of the tiling, some of the just, basic fixtures and fittings can be done, concurrently. Because as we all know, it's in the builder's best interest to get stuff done concurrently, because that's obviously they get paid, they get compensated quicker.
I think that it's a really good point to make as well, especially with our 2-story properties that we have, as well as our terrace homes. Again, at the moment the enclosed starts, the wrapping starts, the rendering or bricklaying or whatever's happening, they can do concurrent activity inside, and the internal lining, skirting, that kind of thing starts happening, and it's really good to see. Just because sometimes the enclosed stage can be the longest stage, especially for the 2-story properties.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like it's just a paperwork activity with nothing tangible. Then you get land settlement. That's a really great event, and that's effectively when almost the client starts to get handed over to the two of you. Loving Axons in the Wild. You guys are amazing. Thanks, Ben. Yeah, it's the girls love going out there and doing that stuff. And every now and then when I'm there as well, I'll put this mug on the, people see enough of me, I feel, but it's also good to be out there and share some stuff with you. But no, it is good to be able to see that concurrent activity. Shit, I've lost my train of thought now because I've bloody just read that Benny Hinton comment. Doesn't matter. I'll come back to it. Axons in the Wild, amazing. Love the girls being so proud of their property's progress. Well done to the Axon team. All right, beauty. What was I going to fucking say there?
Oh, God.
Can't read your mind, RT. Sorry.
Something about concurrent activity in the 2-story properties?
Live TV. Doesn't matter. It'll come back to me. Franny, you were talking about some sporadic delays as well. So when you say that, what does that mean?
So, we've got James asked what has happened and how the build process has evolved in the past 12 months. We have noticed, yes, trades, materials are becoming more available. With that, I feel like the build process is the last one on the wave of events in the market. So during COVID, obviously, no houses were progressing or being built or starting to be built. And now we're seeing, with the ease of all the trades and materials, everyone is ready to work. So what we're seeing is these sporadic delays. So when we have too many houses in one location, not just Axon in general, that are going through a specific stage or require a specific trade, there are not enough trades to deliver work for everyone. So we're saying every now and then tilers, painters, delays that can't get through. So they are not the same type of delay as we've seen in the past 12 months. It's not it's different kettle of fish this time, but it's still happening. Overall, the outlook is positive. We are seeing things moving faster and becoming more available. Every now and then there's hiccups with too many people on the same stage at the same time.
Yeah, love it. And as Chris Williams, hello, Chris. Hope you and Carol are doing well, buddy. Scaffolding is delaying other builders. I mean, when you're building a terrace home, it's generally a 2-story terrace home. Obviously, the 2-story properties, Caitlin, that you're project supervising at the moment as well. Like literally, Jen Gaylor is just saying there, would love to see a walkthrough progress video of the terrace house as possible. So let's get Scott onto that, please, girls, and go up to Steve and Jen to get that video walkthrough. It was literally like Steve and Jen, they couldn't start doing the second level construction of the terraces around the corner until your scaffolding had gone down. because there was only one scaffolding company that was doing that type of scaffolding in that region. So it was literally that sequential. There could be no concurrent activity happening. So yeah, very interesting. I just remember what I was talking about. Thanks for interrupting me, Ben, but it's my fault because I read your comment because I know you know how much I love you, mate.
Too.
When you're doing all the stuff in my lane and in James's lane, in the coaching and property specialist lane, it's just a paper activity. There's nothing tangible which has occurred. Even settling on the block of land, which is amazing. Like, yeah, that's great. But then we go into 8, 9, 10 weeks of building approval, sort of nothing going on. Then eventually we go out there and see the site cut and the slab goes down. Bang, we've got something tangible. We can actually sort of start to see all the hard work from the very initial, you might have even watched one of these back in the day and went, oh, I'll keep bloody following that buffet and the people on the video with him. And then eventually you get to a point where you have a connection call, a coaching call, and away we go. It's quite often a long time from first exposure to Axon to having the slab goes down. Then the frame goes up reasonably quickly. And you're like, shit, this is happening, really soon. Some builders have got it whereby they can have sort of the roof and the walls happening relatively soon after that as well. And then it slows down. Because remember, there's tens of thousands of micro components that get hand built in each of these properties. So it's, I guess, as people riding the waves as far as each stage, it's like, oh, that happened quickly. Now this has happened taken so long. They've got to look at the build time frame in totality, like from start to finish. When was it sort of happening there? So no, it is important to spread it out a little bit there. Franny, we sort of spoke before, that's about between 6 and 9 months, depending on the builder and the location and the type and style of property, as far as that goes. So that's happening reasonably well. What about, Caitlin, can you remember one of the houses that you did a handover with whereby the tenant or the owner was there? I know we went out and did Dan Murdoch's in the Western Growth Corridor a little while ago. Have you attended one recently? Because Franny did one on Monday. So we'll talk in a second.
No. I think
you did. Yes.
I think mine would have been Brenton's at the start of the year. Was my last owner occupied?
Well, that was that's a different kettle of fish altogether. So as opposed to Franny, when you and I did the handover separate to the one that you did beforehand, whereby the clients were like, yep, that's an awesome house. No worries. I'm not going to live in it. Let's get some fucking tenants so they can start paying the bills. Mm-hmm. Brenton and Brenna actually were moving into their own home. So, Caitlin, can you capture that for us and maybe walk us through how that was for you and what you saw on their faces? I know that they've been past it and been in it many times, but where the house is actually finished, the keys are handed over, they've got their little Axon bloody congrats pack sort of thing. What's that like to be part of?
Oh, again, just overwhelming joy for the client and on their behalf. And it's, it's going around, it's seeing everything that, they have chosen, they've touched, they've, seen come to life, from a slab to a frame to enclosed, everything. They're now living and walking through their brand new property. And they're like, how does the aircon work? How does the new oven work? So it's just so much excitement on their face. It's awesome. And, especially because we sit there and we talk to our clients who are, owner occupiers or, investors, investors as well. It's like, okay, like what's next? And what are you going to do with this property? Or what are you looking at doing for maybe a next property? And they'll talk, okay, well, yeah, I'm happy to sit back down and go around, number 2 or number 3 or whatever. And sometimes it's like, oh, we're going to get married. And this is, where we're going to come back to after our wedding. Or we're having a baby and we're bringing our first baby back to this house. We have had clients where we've handed over for their property and then they've been pregnant and, brought back their baby to that, their first property that they've built. So it's really good to see, what is next for those clients as well as, how exciting, their faces are pretty much.
You've just reminded me, I just had to type a client's surname in there because I had a really good catch-up session with Barry and Nikki a couple of weeks ago. And then you said the exact same thing to them. What's next?
Yes, what's next?
I do need to, I'd say to Nikki by mid this week, I'd get in touch with her. So I need to get in touch with them tomorrow just to see.
I spoke to them about an hour and a bit ago. So.
Right. Yeah, good. They're no doubt excited because their house is coming along really well.
Yes, I had the first practical completion inspection today, which is awesome. And I seen the colours for their house and I literally yelled at the screen, oh my God! The front of their house is beautiful. It is so amazing. Especially as well, I've got Mick Galliner commented on his on tonight's post as well,
Yeah.
seeing the front of his house as well that we've just gotten professional photos for. Oh my God, amazing. I love colors. So it's just something really good to see. But yeah.
You've got me intrigued now. I'm going to have to jump onto our back-end system and have a look.
Oh my God, you have to. It's so amazing. The colors are just next level, like my favorite. That's not something that I have picked, for my property that I'm building, but I looked at it and went, wow, that is a showstopper.
Next time round, mate. And by the way, ladies and gents, if you're thinking, she's like, oh my God, look at that. Just think about if your Google Chrome was playing at the loudest possible volume and you have to yell out saying, hey, Google, turn the volume down by 50%. That's how loud Caitlin is in the office.
All the time. All the time. Like, as I said, I'm so excited for every single client. Doesn't matter if I've built their house before or they're coming around a second time or whatever. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so good. I actually noticed that we've got, what do we have, about 15 clients settle on their block of land in the last few weeks. And I think almost half of them are repeat clients for their second and third property, which is just phenomenal. So at least going forward, whilst you've got the same volume of work coming your way, at least they'll be like low drag. Like if they've done it all again, like Steve and Jen here, like they're just so much easier to deal with. Not that neither of you shy away from clients that want their hand held a little bit more. And I say to people when I'm like describing the services that they're going to get during the project supervision of their time in the build support lane, I'm like, look, you can ring the girls every day and ask to get an update and they'll be happy to take your call. But you'll get sick of that after the first week. And then you'll just wait for the update to come along, and then you'll know that, everything's that they've got my back, and our clients can just continue to keep living their lives. So,
Rob, even if it's the second, third, or fourth property, each house is different. Each house is a different project, and anything can happen. And even though the clients might be aware of the process, and it might be easier for us, at the end of the day, it's a fresh new start for every single property.
Yeah, 100%. Very good. It just sprung to mind then, and I know that there's a number of friends of yours and Luke that are also using our services, or they have before, or they're doing it right now. And Caitlin, I know certainly you've got a couple of clients that are friends of yours outside of Axon that you knew in the year BA before Axon. What's that like, girls, when you're not just helping clients that you've come through the commercial aspect of the business, but you're actually helping people that you've got a close relationship with, Franny? Sort of speaking about, I'm referring to Ben and Lauren and people like that for you. Yeah,
it's great. It works really well. Obviously, I'm super excited to assist them. It can be really good or it can be really bad, depending on the site that you look at, because if they don't reply to me, my text message is going to be very straightforward. Wait, reply to my email. I wouldn't do that with someone that I don't have such a close connection, long years of relationship. But it's fantastic.
Yeah, because I've no doubt you've got little group messages and stuff going between the couples and whatever else. Caitlin, I know you use that to your advantage with people like Justin and Kat and the like. Just to you provide them the official shirt wearing, hey, there's the Axon update. And then you're like, Caitlin, this is probably, you're like, oi, bitch, this is what's going on.
100%. But you know what? It's, even though we do have friends that are going through this process, both, for Fran and myself, it doesn't mean that they don't get the Axon experience just because they are our friends. They still get the Axon experience. They still get their build support assistant Caitlin or build support assistant Fran. They still get us and what their success package entails. But yes, on the back end, behind closed doors, it is a little bit more, hey, bitch, get on the phone. Yeah. But you know what? It is also a really good thing as well, because we can take feedback, really well for build support as well as Axon in general. So it is our, at our time, I've had friends already being like, hey, you dropped the ball here. I'd like this. And so I'm like, okay, awesome. I didn't know. Thank you so much for telling me. And it may be that our client wouldn't want to do that during the build support phase or the building of the construction of their property, in the event that, maybe they're going to make me sad or make Fran sad. But, I'm my friends saying that to me, I'm like, oh shit, okay, I'll take that on board. This is maybe what other clients are feeling. So thank you for highlighting it. And, this is a really good, back and forth that we get to have with our friends as well.
As they say in the classic saying is, not the Chinese proverb about the chickens. I won't stuff that up again.
What happened with the chicken?
You'll see it on our social soon.
Okay.
Feedback is like the breakfast of champions. You know, you should sprinkle feedback on your bloody Wheaties in the morning. Like, it's very, very good for you.
And as David Simpson says, breakfast is important. So,
okay. No, you think about it, right? So, Franny, the wonderful Stephen Autumn that we so I spent 2.5 hours in the car on the way up, and about the same on the way back on Monday. You know, Steve gave me some advice, as well as my mum has been doing for many, many years now. He's like, mate, you don't need to be like fuck all the time. Like, you can still be exuberant and show that level of confidence and have that connection with people without swearing as much. So, and I like to think that I have toned down my swearing a fair bit since then. Yeah. When I actually said to him, he goes, "Did you actually listen to that? Did you?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course I did, mate. Of course I did." And I've certainly spoken to my mum about a bunch of stuff that I've listened to her a lot about, you know, dealings with Axon stuff over the last couple of years, which have been very invaluable. Talk to us, Franny. Was that Gemma that you saw up at her house on Monday before you come and join us with Stephen Autumn?
Yes, it was.
I saw a wonderful post on her Facebook, which was amazing. How was she when you walked her through her investment property up there?
Seeing the house at the end is such a big moment. Sometimes it can be a little overwhelming, but it was good. Loved walking her and her family through the house, seeing the final product. Gemma has secured this property, and she's so young. She should be very proud of being able to achieve such a huge investment at a young age. I love it.
So good. So good. Caitlin, do you love seeing, before we get to Stephen Autumn, Franny, because I want to talk about that for a bit, do you love seeing some of the younger members of the Axon clients come through? Like, they're, you know, people in there less than 25 and they've got 1 or 2 properties under their belt. Like, how does that make your mind just explode?
Oh, it's just next level. And it's really crazy to find that, you know, there is people out there that just are so headstrong and they've got their head on the right way as such, you know, doing the right things with their money at the start. A lot of people aren't taught good money habits from a young age. So it's really amazing to see this. And for me right now, I didn't get into a good money habit until later in my, you know, adult years, as well as, you know, my husband. And this is now something we need to start teaching our kids from a young age. And so now we have a teenager that we're now teaching this to ensure that, you know, our kids come around to Axon at a young age, you know, and they start doing the exact same thing. It's mind-blowing, especially because we do have some young clients come through, as you said, with 1, 2, 3 properties, and it's next level, and they are just starting their life out amazingly. So when they do want to retire, they can retire early. You know, they can live off this. They can give this life and this, you know, what does my husband say? The generational wealth, starting the generational wealth early for their kids as well. So it's amazing to see, really.
We call it
Robbie, sometimes filling out, you know, insurance forms and date of birth, and I look at them like, man, I was leaking windows when I was your age. I wasn't buying investment property. Like, this is amazing. I'm so proud of you. I think I'm more proud than the clients. I'm like, man, when I was at your age, I was not investing my money in it.
100%. I was investing my money in like cheap Smirnoff vodka shots. Like,
as that friend Noah, who's doing our executive production tonight on the back end, she's from Brazil as well. She's like, lol, I don't know what window licking means in Brazil. But
you know, not the smartest person in the room and, you know, not making good choices. That's what it means.
Oh, that is gold. Every now and then we have, like, as an upfront statement, all of our clients are VIP. We want what I promised them. I said, I want you to have the elite property experience with us. Definitely. We'll do everything we possibly can in our grasp of, you know, influence and control to make sure that the levels of communication and situational awareness and everything about your build is done to the highest level. But every now and then, of course, we get some clients that are very, very good friends of yours or mine from a business sense or sort of down here. So, we had some VVIP clients just finished building a house with us. They own a very, very big restaurant down here on the Gold Coast that a lot of people have seen me eat at. With my little knife that I flash around every night. It's almost like that knife's got its own bloody personality on social media. So yeah, it was one of the greatest and humbling privileges of my career life to have someone that I admire so much, and I just love the business and the brand and the vibe and the atmosphere that they've built in that place. And when Stephen Autumn approached me and said, look, we want you to build an investment property for us, I nearly fucking fell over, seriously. So it's been a project of mine that I've followed and watched very closely. I know that, Nat, when she was sitting in your shoes, Franny did the first little bit of it. And then, for the last 6 months or so, you've taken over it. What was that like for you to sort of see the look on Stephen Autumn's faces as they walk through their big, beautiful 2-story, where they pay $633 for that property? It's worth nearly $900,000 now. Like, it's a pretty special moment on Monday. Hey.
Fantastic. And you know what I love the most is Autumn just said, I didn't track anything. Like, yes. I just blinked and the house happened. And this is what the build support is for. We are here to support, do the worries for you, stress for you, only the important things or more if you wish. But we want you to, at the end, see this complex man-made project come to life, and you reflect back and think, I haven't done much for this to happen. So she said that exactly. And I'm like, man, my job is done. I've done the core of my job. And it was just the smile, the wows moments with seeing finishes, walking through the house, floor plan and seeing all live. It just fulfills my heart.
Ladies and gents, you'll get to see me do a success story on this one. I'll drag it to the top of the pile because I do want to capture the moment of it occurring very, very recently. So that's going to be really cool. But yeah, it was fantastic to see them. Like, this is I don't know how many exactly, but or at least 5 houses these guys have built over the years. So to have them come along and have it done for them, I guess it's the greatest. Would you both agree? It's the greatest compliment that one could give you. Now, I haven't done an end to build hot wash per se for a while because we've now got that, yourself and Angie, either one of you two and Angie jump in and do that literal hot wash for the clients. But I remember when I was doing them, I'm like, hey, how does it feel, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that you built your first house or your third or fourth house with us? And 9 times out of 10, they would say something like, we actually feel a bit guilty. We don't feel like we did anything. Like, we signed an invoice once every 6 weeks and you guys did it all for you. And I'm like, that's what was written on the box. So if that's what happened, then that's amazing. Caitlin, out of interest, is that the broad sentiment that's still coming through when you guys are doing your end to build hot washes?
Oh, definitely. Even today, I had an end to build hot wash, and they said, I was away for the PC process. I was away for, submitting the final claim. I was away for listing the property. I was away for handover the property. I was away for finding tenants. And you've done it all. And I came back to my house being completed, handed over, and I had tenants. And, they were like, I didn't do anything. And I'm like, but you should be proud. And they're like, no, you should be. And I'm like, no, this is my job. You should be proud of what you've done. And, I've got a client, that's just handed over this week, actually. And he's been away going on 3 or 4 weeks now. So he gets all the regular emails. He doesn't have any communication with me, but he gets everything as per normal. But we've got our processes set up. So we're looking after him from the start right to the very finish.
Yeah. And look, to be fair, Franny, like you and Luke being over in East Timor with intermittent and poor comms at times, you guys were sort of the ones that forged the business model, and really it allowed us to refine the business model of, like, because remember when Tammy and I sat down with that $50 whiteboard and went, right, what can I learn from working at the other firm over the last 4 years and now build a business model specific to what I want to do, we've got to do it, my way, our way. What did I need when I was a very busy special forces officer, in and out of the country, very busy at work, long hours, dedicated, focused, but I also needed keep buying those properties on the side to be able to make sure that what I thought my future financial self would look like is going to benefit from. So yeah, we wanted to create a business model like that. And yeah, like I said, Franny, you and Luke were the first one. You were our guinea pigs to sort of see if it could be done. And, and as you rightly say, Caitlin,
I got the same.
Yep. Yeah, you've got clients on boats. We've got clients that are deployed. We've got clients that are living overseas. We've got and everything in between. So no matter where they are, it takes a bit of foresight. It takes a bit of planning. It takes a bit of. But that's the thing. We understand their circumstances, defense spouse or veterans giving back. That no matter, like, there hasn't been not one circumstance which has occurred where a build has been a fucking catastrophe, because the client has been living their life, in their ADF sort of career. So, and sure as shit, it ain't going to fucking start anytime soon. So that was good. Hey, talk to me. I want to embarrass someone right now. Not either of you. Talk to me about how fucking awesome it is to work under Ange. have
False.
Ange as the build support manager / relationship manager. Caitlin, you can go first. I know the love and adoration you have for her is palpable. What's it like just having that human as your go-to person for anything?
I literally said to her yesterday, how is it that you've only been in my life for a year? Like, I never knew Angie other than when I first started Axon. And I went, how is this? How did my life operate without you? I'm like, she is just so incredibly supportive. She pushes you to do the best you absolutely can. And when you've gotten there, she goes, okay, and what can we do now to improve this? You know, she is just so extremely supportive. She's one of the best, people that I've had, help instruct me and, push me to be the best, employee that I can possibly be.
Yeah.
But not only is that, she is somebody that I can laugh with on a next level. She is somebody that jokes around on a next level. She is just another part of me, really. We are both foodies together. We laugh together. We drink margaritas together.
You're exercising and working out together.
We are on our 8-week challenge. Actually, we've started again to try and make it be 100%. We don't want anything. She doesn't let me give anything but 100%.
Good.
So I am trying my hardest. So we've decided, let's start again and let's go 100% from the start. Especially because of sickness that ravaged us. But
yes,
no, honestly, she is just one of the most supporting, caring, enthusiastic person I've ever met in my life.
I love having her as part of the senior leadership team of the executive with Tam and I, and she doesn't come from a defense background. She has that softness, she has that empathy, she has that understanding. I'm trying to impersonate her.
She's the sunshine.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how you impersonate her.
What do you love most about having Ange just by your side and playing your little immediate captain fullback?
Exactly the same as has been said so far, but something else that I love as well is her knowledge on the ongoing support. When she's able to see the build process as a leader and then look after those clients on the ongoing support, she just has even more knowledge and ability to support them. She's just so bubbly, supportive, happy. I call her my sunshine because every time I see and talk to her, it's just all the worries just wash off, and you just move forward. And as Caitlin said, she's always pushing us to be 100% in the most beautiful way.
Yeah, so well said. I love it. Well done. It's so important that Tam and I have someone, because Angie's got 16 years of experience in the real estate sector. I don't have that. None of us have that level of that depth of experience of being able to communicate and problem solve and think win-win for all parties, etc. when she's having those sort of conversations. And, she leads the conversations with our strategic partners, from in the property management space. She talks to the building inspectors if they need to sort of have a bit of a chat about some things. So, yeah, what she got to say. I'm sorry I embarrassed you, Ange, but I did want to try and capture. It's just the three of us having a fireside chat that no one else knows about. My heart, love you guys so much. You fill my cup every day, and I learn from you both as well. You bring so much value to her and her life, which is great. Let me just go back quickly. Tinge Theo, hello, buddy. I don't recognize that name, so thanks so much for putting in your little question there. Have you guys dealt with a full renovation before? Christopher Williams, see you later, my man. Always great work from great people. It's their absolute pleasure, Chris. I know that you and Carol have been fantastic supporters of us over the last 4 or 5 years, really. So I can't wait to catch up again soon, mate. In short, Mr. Theo, mate, we don't do renovations. It's not, it's not in our wheelhouse. It's not what we specialize in. Sorry if that lets you down. I'm sure after listening to the girls tonight, you'll be like, I'm going to get them on my team. They can deal with all the shit for my renovation I don't want to have to do. Certainly doing a renovation from an existing structure or making major renovations to something which hasn't been built from scratch is just not what we specialize in, mate. So I don't know anything about your background. I don't know if you're defense or not, but I'd love the opportunity to be able to help as many people as we can. But one thing I need to be able to make sure is that we don't move into like a tangent, or we don't go off on a tangent and just try and do something for someone that we've never really done before. Even though building a house is building a house is building a house. but certainly the builders and think about the relationships, ladies, that you've got with the builders construction teams.
Mhm.
We've got 5 or 6 different builders that we're working with now, give or take. Yeah, 7 if you include a couple of others. So, it's you have got the relationship with the team there, and you can just pick up the phone and go, hey, what about this? And sort of work through a few sort of, issues there. Franny, your email that you sent through earlier about some feedback points that we saw over the last few days. So, but yeah, it's so sorry, Tins, that we can't help you on that one, buddy. If you get an opportunity whereby you think you want to be able to use our services in full, then don't sort of hesitate to reach out. All right, what else do we want to talk about? Oh, Franny, let's talk about quickly rental. Yes. I'm doing some
important one.
I'm doing some professional training this week, just to sort of upskill myself a little bit more in that space, and it's been really, really handy. I've loved, having some of that more professional education come my way. But yeah, I mean, it's probably the thing that the clients remember the most. Like if a house takes 3 months to rent, they don't care how awesome their coaching session was. They don't care how awesome the property pack was. They don't care how elated they were when the slab went down, or even when the house got handed over. It took fucking 3 months to find a tenant, for instance, which has never happened, by the way. No. So I guess it's really that last taste in the mouth from a shot of dopamine perspective. Thank fuck we found a tenant. I don't have to pay the mortgage anymore. Old mate is going to take care of that for me. So it's something that I do take a huge amount of interest in. I love it, girls, that every time that there is a owner's or a client's house that's go up online, I click that link straight away and I go through it and I dissect it and I ask you to clarify things. Like I look at every single one, not because I'm trying to be a picky bastard, because like I know both of you appreciate, I care about the small things, and like there's only one standard, and that's the absolute best one. We should strive to have an exceptional attention to detail with everything we do, and that's what we need to demand with our partners as well. And I know that due to your communication styles that they've been able to do that. Franny, have you got some data for us, like on how things have been? Like, let's say maybe since the start of the year, even though we've got 400 properties now that have gone over 6 years. Just from even if we sort of capture the last 5 or 6 months or so, how's that been so far?
It's been good, different compared to previous years. On average, we are 2.5 weeks between the property being handed over to finding tenants. This average overall since the start of the year. So, before last year, we were seeing the average on 1.5. So a little bit more. So we have been working with our partners and getting insight on what's going on. But first and foremost, listing a property is not straightforward. It's not just making a link available. There's so much work that goes behind it, from the very first letter title that goes into the ad, all the way to the photos, and last but not least, the price. So we really want all of current investors and future investors to reflect back to the process and risk brief that we give and strategies for listing a property online. At the end of the day, even if you're educating, you do your research, the market will tell you what they want to see. So we have been noticing a bit of a shift, longer time frames for finding tenants. That's not due to the quality of our houses. If anything, we have seen, as I said before, a lot of more trades and materials becoming available, houses are being built. The demand it's a lot generous compared to previous months. So there's a lot more houses available, and I wouldn't say not as many people looking, but more supply available.
And of course, with interest rates that have gone up, ladies and gents, with another couple of minutes to go, of course, you want to be able to try and get, like, it's easy to morph into the world. Like, fuck, now I'm paying so much more interest. Now I've got to try and get top dollar rent so I can actually, try and offset some of that interest I'm paying. I remember one of the houses sat there, Franny, Caitlin, I think it was one of yours, sat there for like 4 or 5 weeks at 650, going head to head with all the other properties. One of our other clients who's built a house before slid it in at 630, bang, found a tenant in 2 days. I'm like, fuck me, that's how you do it. Like, you're paying $2,500 a month at the back end of your build. Why do you want to sit there and go head to head with everyone else? So it's really
it is a balancing act, waiting for a tenant and having someone straight away. You need to make the right decision for your own circumstances, but obviously we want to get people sooner rather than later.
And as you said, Robbie, like you check the listings as well because you want to make sure that everything is spot on. We want to make sure that our properties look the nicest, the shiniest, and that. And you know, we seek excellence from all of our parties involved in listing a property. And as Fran said, it's not just as simple as getting a link and then popping it up. We go through a lot of chats before they, with relevant property agents to talk about the rental price point, to talk about, a lot of things that go into it. So it is a lot of back and forth before the client gets involved.
Great. Stevie Gaylor, final word. The tenancy process, 100% why I have zero interest in self-managing a property long time. It's a dumb idea these days, ladies and gents, for you to be able to fucking do this by yourself. Trust me, I've been immersed in a professional development course that's gone through all this stuff over the last couple of days. And yeah, get a professional to do it for you. I've seen a little bit, and that's enough. All right, fantastic. Speaking of that's enough, ladies and gents, we've come to the end of our 1 hour. Caitlin, Franny, how was that, girls?
Easy.
Loved it. Easy. Time flies when you're having fun, literally, hey?
That's it.
Thank you, everyone, for joining in.
Well done again, Ange. I did a quick little note, everybody. I'm actually away next Wednesday. I'm having dinner with said Stephen Autumn on the Wednesday night. So someone else is going to join, probably Luke and Ryan going forward. So have a fantastic session in a couple of weeks' time. I'll be back soon after that. I was just very, very quickly, I was just having a bit of a think about it. I'm pretty sure it was early May period 3 years ago that we started doing these, right when COVID kicked off. So it's been a bloody hell of a ride, and I feel like we're going from strength to strength. So thanks, everyone, for being here. Benny Hinton, you're a legend, mate. Have a great night, everyone. See you later. Thank you, Noah. Turn us off.
Bye.